Okay, let's practice a little with limit laws. So limit laws are the things that let you just use substitution to do limits. So remember there's like the sum, the product, the difference, the quotient. Remember when you use the quotient you have to make sure the denominator is not 0. So this one tells us that the limit as x goes to 1 of f of x is 8, the limit as x goes to 1 of g of x is 3, and the limit as x goes to 1 of h of x is 2. So part A says find the limit as x goes to 1 of f of x divided by g of x minus h of x. So I'm going to use my limit laws, and the first one I'm going to use is the quotient, and that allows me to break this into two separate limits. And that was quotient. Okay, so then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use the difference on the denominator. So I'm going to write this as limit as x goes to 1 of f of x divided by limit as x goes to 1 of g of x minus limit as x goes to 1 of h of x. And now that was the difference. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to plug in the values that they gave me. So remember, the f of x was 8, the g of x was 3, and the h of x was 2. So I'm just going to plug in all those numbers. So I have 8 divided by 3 minus 2, or 8. Okay, so let's try the second example. So this one needs f of x and g of x. It has a constant in it, and it has a power in it. So we can use the power rule and put that limit underneath the cube root. So we're going to say limit, cube root of limit as x goes to 1, f of x, g of x plus 3. And that was power. So then what we'll do is we'll use the sum rule and break it up into limit as x goes to 1 of f of x times g of x plus limit as x goes to 1 of 3. And that was the sum rule. Okay, so one more. We're going to use the product rule and break that f of x, g of x into their own limits. So limit as x goes to 1 of f of x times limit as x goes to 1 of g of x plus limit as x goes to 1 of 3. So now I'm going to use what they gave me. Remember, f of x was 8 and g of x was 3. So in here I have 8 times 3 plus, now this function, limit as x goes to 1 of 3, no matter what x value I plug in there, I always get out 3. So I'm just going to put plus 3. So 8 times 3 is the root of 24, plus 3 is 27. Cube root of 27 is